Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers, Blowers, and Guns. Good morning. I'm back with another episode on some cool shit to get for your AR. I want to tell you that I've wanted to do this for a good while because I was thinking about getting the Psa Jakl. That looks really nice. It's kind of like a mini SCAR, you know what I mean? Love how the integration of the upper goes right into the boot stock of it. Anyway, while I was considering that, it's hard to acquire parts for the Jakl when you live in the state of New York because PSA is the only one that makes it because it's a PSA Jakl, right? They won't ship uppers or lowers to the state of New York, which is ridiculous. I thought they were Pro 2A. What's wrong with shipping an upper? I don't get it. Another alternative that I wanted was that my buffer tube with the castle nut here and the buffer tube being visible. That's what I don't really like about it. So not only is the Jakl very expensive, the upper itself is like 800 bucks, right? And then you need that adapter for the rear of the upper, and then you need the boot stock, right? I mean, the whole thing probably would have cost you, I don't know, maybe 1,200 bucks, maybe 1,000 bucks, something like that, just to get the upper, because you can use a regular mil-spec AR lower. Anyway, so as an alternative to that, I saw this thing online, and it's been pretty popular. It's the Recc boot stock from Reptilia. So I want to preface this video by saying that I actually went and spent my own money. They wouldn't send me one for review, and I can understand why, because these things are pricey. It's $159.99. They were having a sale for $143.99. I got a 10% coupon from Optics Planet. So all in all, I think I paid about $135 or something like that. It was free shipping, or maybe the shipping wasn't free, it was included in there. So I think I paid like $143 total. But anyway, it's the FDE color that I wanted. As you can see, it has a piece in front of the boot stock that covers up the buffer tube, the castle nut, and the plate. As you can see from this time lapse, I removed it from my rifle. It was really easy to remove. I had staked my castle nut, so I had to unstake it. So I grinded down a really sharp flathead drill bit or drive bit, and I put it right where the stake was so I can cut the stake. You know, when you do the dent in there, you cut the dent so that part doesn't protrude into this area for the castle nut. I didn't want to scratch my castle nut in case I wanted to reuse it again someday. And of course, you see I bought the silver or stainless steel, quote unquote, look of the buffer tube castle nut and this detent spring retention plate, which also doubles as a, you know, mount for your sling. So I took like this thing here, wrapped it around the castle nut, and used a pair of channel locks on the longest setting, and basically gave it some torque, and it came right off without scratching it. And then I basically just turned the old stock out. So now we pretty much have my lower all standalone, ready for installation of the Recc boot stock. I call it a boot stock because it's shaped like a boot, you know what I mean? I have the buffer plunger pin and spring, and also the takedown pin detent. Be careful not to lose those. I'm on my deck, so there's like seams that go into dirt. So if I drop it or lose it, I'm done. So unboxing this is very easy. You just open the box. In it, your Optics Planet coupons, which I always forget to use, but I did this time. A couple of Reptilia stickers. That's right, stickers, not stickers. And it just comes assembled, one piece, just like that. Nothing else in the box. So when you take it out of the box, it looks like this. Has a proprietary buffer tube included. What I like about this, as opposed to my old one, is that this buttstock end is plastic. So when you kind of like put your rifle vertical, leaning against a wall somewhere, sometimes this will just slide and it'll fall down. So I don't like it being plastic. They use plastic to cut down on weight. The Reptilia bootstock is actually rubber, which I like. It's made of pretty good construction, pretty stiff, and it is adjustable with a trigger type release. I'm a small frame guy, so I usually wouldn't use the telescopic feature anyway. So it being flush like this is awesome. So there's nothing to installing this. There's a nut over here that you would loosen, right? And on the nut, it actually says 25 foot-pounds of torque. Being that my main channel is mowers and blowers, I deal with small engine equipment on a daily basis. Let me tell you, 25 foot-pounds is a lot. I'll give you an example. Single-cylinder Briggs & Stratton lawn tractor engine, the cylinder head bolt torque is 18.3 foot-pounds. That's equivalent to 220 inch-pounds. That's a lot of torque. 25 foot-pounds for a buffer tube? That's a lot of torque. I'd be afraid to break something, but anyway, I'm not going to use any of that stuff. They tell you to use a torque wrench when you're torquing this down. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. As hard as you can. I mean, maybe not as hard as you can, but you'll know when you deal with engines and torques and all that stuff. I'm so used to it, I can probably tell what 25 foot-pounds is. So I'm not going to use a torque wrench. So it comes out like this. This is the proprietary buffer tube. It has another nut that's integrated into the buffer tube, and you would screw this in to the end. Now on this, it says on there 35 foot-pounds. Holy cow, 35 foot-pounds is almost double the amount of the engine cylinder head torque specs. 35 foot-pounds is a lot, you know what I mean? I'd be afraid to break it, to be honest with you. Anyway, we're gonna install this really quick. First, you gotta put the spring and the plunger for your buffer tube in the hole. That's right, stick it in the hole.
That's what she said.
I'm gonna get you right where I am so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. Hopefully you guys can see. And if you can't see, too bad. Stick it in there, make sure it's not gonna pop out. Put your finger in here like that. Now they say some people put Loctite on the threads. Other people say to put oil on it. But honestly, fellas, this isn't the space shuttle, okay? Jesus. So to push this all the way down, you're gonna first, so it hurts your fingers when you're pushing this down because this pin is like a, you know, punching into your skin. So I'm gonna just screw it until it about gets near to where it is. Once I get to about where it is, I'm gonna try not to eject this plunger to Never Never Land. I'm gonna hold it down with this thing. There you go. As you can see, it's on the lip. If it wasn't on the lip, it would spring out that way and you'd lose it forever. You just tighten it with your hands, and honestly, man, they really want you to do this to 35 foot-pounds? That's a lot. Have I mentioned 25 foot-pounds is a lot of torque? Either way, I'm gonna do it as hard as I can, and I'm just gonna use this wrench. I'm sorry, did I say 25 foot-pounds? 35 foot-pounds. That is a lot. So you ready? Here we go. It hardly moves. That's not moving. That's it. I mean, it may not be 35 foot-pounds, but that's not going anywhere. Guaranteed. It's not going anywhere. I'm gonna get better leverage. No, you're gonna break something if you go any more than that. Seriously. You're gonna break the upper. It was like creaking already. Yeah, they got to be out of their mind if they think that that's going to go anymore. There you go. That's what it looks like right there. It's in there. So now you just place this back over this. And that's what it's supposed to look like, see? And then you simply put this 25 foot-pounds thing. You know, I was watching a video at Brownell's, and that dude with the greased hair.
So if you notice, they actually put the torque setting. So this says 35 foot-pounds. This screw that goes onto the back, notice that says 25 inch-pounds.
He actually said it was inch-pounds, and not to mistaken both, because one's inch-pounds and one's foot-pounds. But both mine say foot-pounds, so maybe they updated it. You know, this is the latest version, because it might have been confusing for other people. They fixed it. I mean, I hope. Either way, it doesn't matter to me because I'm not using a torque wrench. I'm just torquing it down to as much as I can turn it without breaking it. And that's all you need. Before we do that, we have to put the takedown pin detent and spring back in there so that this part here pushes in on it. And this part is the part that takes the place of the original calcium nut and end plate. Like that. So this is going to be tricky too because you don't want to shoot that spring out of there, right? So here's the mini detent. And it doesn't matter which way you put it in because they're both exactly the same. Now I'm going to put the spring back in here. And then I'm going to put this on top of here without it binding the spring. Boom. Just like that. Oh, you know what I have to do? We have to put your takedown pin in first. That's why there was very little play. I have the kind of takedown pin that's protruded at the ends with a little hole there where you can put like a ring if you wanted to always pull it out fast. Pushing the spring. Hold the spring so that it doesn't pop out. Make sure it works. Yep. There we go. Now we're going to put this back on. Hold it with your hand so it doesn't pop back out again. Slip this on there, equal pressure. Make sure it's all well nice and seated and flush. Hold on to it. Here's that nut to lock the buffer tube in place. 25 foot-pounds. Gotta be out of your mind. You guys work in a mechanical type environment and you use torque wrenches a lot, you probably agree with me that 35 and 25 foot-pounds is so much torque you have no idea. You can use a half-inch impact and you couldn't do 35 foot-pounds. It's a lot. So I'm not gonna do any of that. I'm just gonna do what I feel is tight. A little bit of common sense, fellas. I'm also not putting any kind of Loctite on here either. Now, there are guys that say put red Loctite. Are you nuts? You'll never get that off with red Loctite. Red Loctite is practically permanent. I mean, of course, a little heat and influence will always go a long way, but wow, that is tight already. But you know what? Am I able to go a little bit more with better leverage? Lock the elbows. That is more than 25 foot-pounds, but I'm pretty confident that that will never come off. All right, here we go. Installed.
12,000 BTUs of raw cooling power, huh? Yeah. Installed.
Let's make sure that the takedown pin works. There we go. It could use some Earl. It's a little stiff, but it seems to work. What do you guys think? Pretty cool? I think it's pretty cool. All right, let's put my upper back in. But first, gotta put the buffer in. So you just put your spring in there. And the buffer itself. Click. There we go. And that plunger pin holds it in. Try not to hold in things. It's not good for your insides. There we go. Good. And also it matches perfectly with my Magpul grip. My buddy actually has a Reptilia grip that he offered me, but honestly, I like the Magpul one because on the bottom it has a little compartment where you can put shit. I'll show you. Oil. Ooh, I need oil. Oh, Jesus. That's okay. It's just a little Earl. Let's not go crazy. You need to oil your stuff anyway. Incidentally, how often do you guys clean your guns? My buddy cleans his guns every time that we go to the range. Every time. And we're talking comprehensive. He takes the BCG out. Everything. Pin, extractor, pin, spring, everything. And he cleans it. I haven't cleaned my guns in at least three outings at the range. So anyway, yeah, I like this because it comes with that. Hey, this is unused space. You may as well carry something with it, you know? So I like this a lot, and it matches, as you can see, perfectly with the Magpul color. So let's put my upper back on. Leave it in the comments, fellas. How often do you clean your guns? Honestly, if a little bit of dust and gunpowder residue is going to prevent your weapon from firing, get rid of the weapon. I mean, it's like, you know, those AKs in Russia or other third world countries around the world. They drag their AKs through mud and rocks, sand, and they still fire no problem. What a little bit of gunpowder does is going to prevent an AR from firing? Get out of here. There we go. Badass. So, does this look a lot more like a Scar or a Jakl? I mean, a little. It definitely looks better than that, where the buffer tube castle nut end plate is exposed. Now I have a flush looking contraption on here that makes it a lot more tactical, cleaner. I love it. I think it's great. Now, how about the You see, now that's perfect because you see, my arms are very short. I'm a small frame guy, so something like this is actually perfect. I love it. This is my most favorite build because I built it myself. Everything, barrel, gas block, everything was put together in pieces by me. Usually when you put it together yourself, it ends up being your favorite because you put a lot of pride into it. You like it better instead of just buying it. Anybody can just buy it. Build your own. It's fun. It's like an erector set. Maybe I should build another one. What do you guys think? You guys like it? Leave it in the comments. I will say though, that I saw some videos about people reviewing this. And there was this one guy who said that this is so flimsy and shaky. This is more steadier than this. And this is made out of very hard polymer. There's no movement at all with this. It's solid, man. And see, even with it extended, right? I mean, it would work, but it feels a little awkward for me. Like it's more heavier because I have to stretch the rifle out more, so it's heavier. So I'm fine with the boot just looking like this. And I love it that it has the rubber buttstock end. That way there's no slippage, you know what I mean? Love the color combination. Love it that this part is hiding the castle nut. Honestly, I didn't like these, but they didn't make a silver one that didn't have those, at least that I could find with the kit. These things protrude out. So they add a little weight to it, and also it gets in the way of your fingers sometimes, and I never use this anyway, you know? So I'm gonna save this for, I don't know, someday, whatever, but for now, my WMD nickel boron plated AR is now the way I like it. And that's the important part, fellas, is that you have to build it the way you like it. Even if your friends or somebody says, oh, I don't like that, that's their opinion. You have to have a rifle that you're happy with. And you know what? Life's too short. If you got some money, get the rifle that you want, make it your own. Another lesson from Henry at Mowers, Blowers, and Guns. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. There's a lot of Reptilia Recc reviews out there. Hopefully you enjoyed mine. Hopefully you'll subscribe, like, share, and hit that notification bell because I get firearm related content all the time. Don't miss one episode. We'll see you guys next time on Mowers, Blowers, and Guns. You gotta go bing! Bing!
Henry, address the bullet.
Hello, bullet!
Hello, boy!
Dead ski.